Hello everyone, welcome to Punters Inside Run. I'm Simon O'Donnell. Matty Campbell, not in the chair this week, but he'll be back next week. He's having a bit of a spell. He needed a bit of a rest. But I'll tell you, the man that doesn't need a rest, he's come up with winner week after week, is Mick Sharkie, who joins me as per usual. Mick, welcome.
Hello Simon, nice to be with you as we look towards racing going into the provincial areas.
Which I think suits you down to the ground.
Well, suits both of us. You're a man that owns land. You're a lord.
I'm a man
lord
of
the
country.
Yeah, you are. You are probably more so than me, to be fair. But we're just discussing cattle prices amongst other things. Might have to dabble in that sort of area pretty soon.
Let's hope we can make a little more out of backing a winner as we leave the city and go to the country for the Mornington Cup. Alex Donnelly, he'll be joining us to talk Hawkesbury because Sydney goes that way as well, heading from the city to the bush. But we'll also, if we get the numbers right, we'll have a go at the quaddie a little later on. There's been some controversy about where our numbers have ended up in the last few weeks, but I'm sure we'll get them right this week. But first up, the Mornington Cup, 2,400 metres, run over the same distance, of course, as the famous Caulfield Cup, and it's a golden ticket. Mick, you win this one, you go straight into the Caulfield Cup.
You do, Simon. Look, I think it's a really good race this year. There's plenty of depth to the Mornington Cup this year. You look through the field and you look at the odds. The Adelaide Cup winner, last start Adelaide Cup winner, albeit at 20 to 1, he's the rank outsider in this race. An Adelaide Cup winner.
It's a good field, isn't it?
It's a very even field. You know, horses coming down from New South Wales for it, some local horses in good form. It's a terrific race. I think there's some value in this race too.
You talk of form, he's a shocker. You know, a wonderful run at in the Queen Elizabeth last start. Non-conformist, belted them up over 1,600 first up. I think then has an excuse to run a little flatly in the Australian Cup because he ran so well fresh. I expect him to bounce back in the Mornington Cup.
I expect he will as well. I think he's a shocker from the barrier. He's going to have to do some work at some point of the race. I think they go back and ride him conservatively, which means he's going to stand those up the front, a fair old head start. Fine weather forecast for the rest of the week leading into Mornington Cup Day. Maybe it favours those horses up near the speed. I think with an inside gate, non-conformist, third up into this race, Graham Begg is going so well at the moment.
Is he what?
I think this horse is absolutely cherry ripe to win this race. I think he'll win it. You know what? I think he'll put a little margin on him.
Okay.
Yeah, very confident.
Non-conformist, a little margin, then who?
Gear Up's an interesting horse coming down for Annabelle Neesham. Couple of runs up in Sydney for this import. He's got some good form over 2,400 metres in Ireland and the UK. Talented horse. I think back on top of the ground will suit Gear Up. He's in next best, and then he's a shocker in for third. I think he's going really well. It's just that barrier in the map for me might make things a little bit tricky. But he'll run a good race. 2,400
possibly a little challenge there as well. Look, I love the big form coming into a race like this. He's stepping down in class from the Queen Elizabeth to the Mornington Cup. So I'll put he's a shocker on top. I expect non-conformance to come back into the race after a flat run in the Australian Cup. I think he'll bounce back in this. And Sword's drawn. He's just an honest son of a gun who keeps saying, hey, you do something wrong, I'll be able to beat you. And I expect the same thing from him on Saturday.
You could put a horse like Right You Are in the same boat.
Correct.
They're both going so well, really consistent. And, yeah, if others have an off day, they'll be there to pounce.
OK, from the stayers to the sprinters, the Hareeba, the famous Hareeba Stakes there at Mornington. Again, a really good field here. Jigsaw seems to be the one everyone wants.
Well, if it's not Jigsaw, you're really looking at restricted sort of handicap horses, aren't you? That would probably flirt with listed grade at their best, whereas Jigsaw's coming out of a run in the William Reid Group 1. Look, he just got going in that race. He went way too quickly. Probably wasn't the fault of Daniel Moore. That's the way the horse likes to be ridden, is to go forward and be up on speed. He just got in control and got going a bit quick. I think if there's anything left in him, fifth run into this race, he'll beat them. Curran is probably the danger. He's the one that's early in his preparation, third up into this race. Really good win last time, and She's All Class is a good filly on her day.
Yeah, I'm around you. Jigsaw, I think, again, if it steps up and still got some legs there, it can win the Aruba. She's All Class, same reasons you say. I think in with an enormous show. And Sessions Road, I just have a feeling some nice double-figure odds might give us a little bit of value in the Aruba. Your value and best bet for the day at Mornington?
Best bet is non-conformist, race 8, number 3 non-conformist for me. I think he'll go and win the Mornington Cup and find his way in the Caulfield Cup in the spring. Best value, race 5, number 5, Al Redont. The stallion Redont doesn't do a hell of a lot, but he can find a nice horse. This horse has got a really good turn of foot, couple of trials has been very good for this, including one behind Giga Kick, where he wasn't far off.
My values in the Mornington Cup similar to yourself, but I'm going with Swords Drawn, double figure odds, and I think he's the one outside of the top two in. He's a shocker and non-conformist and can win the race. And our best bet, race 3, number 11, Squad. The Hawkses have had a horrible autumn. I think they just might, as we look towards getting towards winter, I think they just might be about to start to fire some bullets.
And 2 for 2 this prep squad, so he's flying.
Yeah, well, let's hope we all fly at Mornington on Saturday, the Mornington Cup and the Hareeba. Time to go up the highway from Sydney. We've got Hawkesbury coming up next.
If you're in love with racing, then you'll love the new betting brand for racing fans. With exclusive markets, promotions, insights and content. That's better. Chances are you're about to lose.